Welcome back. It is Monday, December 9th in the NBA. My best bets are on the way. If you are new, my name's Austin from Calling Our Shot. As always, we begin these NBA best bet videos recapping how we did the day before. Honestly, it wasn't a good day. 1-3 overall. Now, Warriors money line, they did clutch up in that third quarter. They actually started making shots. We love to see that. Logan's quietly on a little bit of a heater. He's hit 3 or 4 in a row. We don't have any spread or money line picks today, but I think Logan will be back probably tomorrow or at the worst on Wednesday. We'll talk about the slates going forward in a second. Our props, honestly, some bad reads in here. DeAndre Ayton probably should have hit. He had 14 points with like 6 minutes left in the third quarter. I even said, hey, I think he's got a good first quarter as well. He scored 8 in the first quarter. He ends with 14 on the hook for us. He got into a little bit of foul. Well, he wasn't really in foul trouble. He came in the fourth quarter, legitimately picked up 3 fouls in about 45 seconds, and then he was fouled out. So we missed the final 4 minutes. That was fun, but either way, whatever. Keegan Murray, if I ever bet on Keegan Murray again and it's not an under, that is my call for help. That is my call for help out there. So if you ever see me take Keegan Murray's over, just know, please call the hotline for me. And the Nikola Jokic under, not a good read there. He scored 48. He is him. We ended our 14-0 run on unders thanks to the Joker. In hindsight, I should have waited to see if Jamal Murray was playing or not. I didn't really love it as much without Jamal Murray in there because Russell Westbrook refuses to shoot the basketball. But either way, a 1-3 day, whatever. We'll move on. Today, we actually only have one game on. We have Knicks versus Raptors. So I have one pick in this game. Then I'll talk about a bunch of other things I looked at. I do want to caution you guys on these shorter slates. I encourage you not to put in a ton of units onto one specific game because let's say you're on like 4 different overs. You're like, I love all these 4 or 5 picks. And then the game's a blowout, you probably went 0-4 or 0-5. So that's a quick way to deplete your bankroll. So it's important, especially this week, to manage that bankroll. We have 1 game today, 2 tournament games tomorrow, 2 tournament games on Wednesday, and I want to say only 3 games on Thursday. So a very weird week in the NBA. So manage those units. You'll probably only see me do 1, maybe 2 plays in a single game just because I don't want to force too much action in there. But either way, let's dive into my favorite pick here, and then we'll dive into some other things that I looked at in these games, and maybe you can build a long shot parlay or something like that. My favorite play that I'll be playing for 1 unit is Jalen Brunson under 7.5 assists, -105 on ESPN Bet. Now, I love Brunson. You guys know that. I actually really like his over in points tonight. I just am hesitant to take some Brunson overs because if it's a blowout, he is the only one that really gets rest at the end of the game. So, I mean, heck, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, those guys are playing like 45 minutes. Jalen Brunson's the one guy they tend to rest a little bit. We kind of got burned by that in one of the tournament games against the Magic. Either way, Tom Thibodeau is probably going to give him max minutes today, and we'll have to sweat this under probably the whole game. But if you look at Brunson on the season, he's averaging right at this line, 7.7 assists per game. He is under in 11 of 23, so a little bit under 50%. He is under in 4 of his last 6, though. The Raptors matchup, in my opinion, is a really good one for Brunson to score. And heck, we wanted to score 70 points today. I don't care. Go out there and score as many as you want, because if the ball is going up from his hands and not passing it, best case scenario for us. But this season, it's not been a great matchup versus the Raptors. The Raptors, fewest assists per game allowed to point guards in the NBA. Now, part of that is because I feel like they face some other small forwards that act as point guards versus them, like LeBron James. But large in part, they've done a pretty good job at limiting those assists from the opposing point guards. I think it's probably because they give up a lot of points to opposing point guards, but I digress. We've seen some other guys that are like second options hit this over against them. We've seen Bam Adebayo, Sabonis, Aaron Gordon even. Those guys are getting the assists, not the guys like Jalen Brunson, who are technically the point guard on their team. Now, in Brunson's last 6 games versus the Raptors, he's had some decent success assist-wise, 2, 5, 8, 9, 9, and 7 assists. I do want to note in 3 of those games, they scored 145, 126, and 136 points. Now, the Knicks, I believe, as of this moment, are the number 1 rated offense in the NBA. There's a chance they could go out there and score 130 plus. Their team total is about 118.5. If they do that, we're probably going to be in a tough spot for them to not get 8 assists for Brunson because he's probably the guy with the ball in his hands a ton. But again, getting 8 assists on the road where you normally have worse shooting splits, I'll take my chances here, and not the best matchup. As I said, I like the matchup for him to score, which is lines about 24.5, 25.5 points. I just don't love it for him to get 8 assists. You obviously could. It's not the, like, hey, put your whole account on this. I'm only putting 1 unit. But my favorite play is going to be Jalen Brunson under 7.5 assists, -105 on ESPN Bet. That line should not go off of 7.5. If it does, somehow go to 6.5, I'd probably avoid it. Assist props can be pretty sharp. Let's hope Brunson's teammates aren't making his shots when he passes it to him, or one of them is just scorched earth and they're just letting him go ISO mode against everyone else. I don't really know who would do that. Maybe Karl Anthony Towns, a few returns. I really like Jalen Brunson under 7.5 assists. Try to bounce back on our unders. We had hit 14 in a row. Yesterday, Jokic went over, trying to go into 15-1 run. But that's my favorite play. Now I'll talk about some other things that I did look at. Now let's talk about who I think wins and covers in this game. Obviously, I think the Knicks win, but I think the Raptors have a sneaky shot at covering this one. This feels like a slow spot for the Knicks. They could come out a little bit slow. This game doesn't mean a ton, and they have a in-season tournament game on Wednesday. So how much energy will they have on the road when they're just going to return back home in their next game? I think this is a one-game road trip. I don't remember where their last game was. That was the game against the Pistons, right? Where Kate Cunningham had a triple-double. Now, they did lose that game, so you might see some extra energy from the Knicks. But again, I don't know if I really love that spot for them, given how big of a game they have on Wednesday. So kind of feels like a soft spot for the Knicks. I know everyone's going to be on them, but we've talked about the key numbers. If you get the Raptors at 6.5 or something like that, we've talked about all those key numbers in there. The most common margins of victory are typically that 4, 5, and 6 range. So if you can get all those numbers on the Raptors side, I don't mind taking that. In terms of some other props, I was actually looking hard at RJ Barrett over in points. It's about 20.5, 21.5. He's coming off 2 games where he scored 17 and 18. 17 came against the Thunder. We'll cut him some slack. 18 came against the Mavericks. He shot all right, 50% in that game, but he was in foul trouble. He had 5 fouls, so missed a lot of minutes. Only played 27. Grady Dick, I also don't mind his matchup. Not a ton as much as a guy like RJ Barrett, but he's not the worst guy in the world. He is coming off a game. He took advantage of RJ Barrett not playing, and that's why he shot 21 shots last game. In terms of other guys, I like an under. Jakob Poeltl, I like his under in points. It's 15.5. I'd probably wait to see if Cat plays. Even if Cat doesn't play, Jericho Sims is one of the guys with the lowest field goal percentage allowed at the rim, which is really where Poeltl scores. I still would want Cat in there and not just take the Jericho Sims fade, because Jericho Sims ain't playing 48 minutes. So I would rather, if Cat were in there, I'd probably add Jakob Poeltl. I don't mind his under. In terms of Scotty Barnes, I haven't talked about him. He's obviously been a stud. I looked at his PRA line, which is hovering at 36.5. In terms of PRAs, he's over that line, 36.5. And since his return, 1, 2, 3, 5 of his last 7. He had one where he ended on 36 on the dot. I think he has a good job scoring the basketball today. Rebounds I also like for him, and the assists have just been crazy for Scotty Barnes. We're talking about last game, 26 potential assists, 14. He's at 10, 9, 9, 8, and 14 assists in his last few games. So he's really taken on that point guard role big time for this offense for the Raptors. So those are some other things I looked at. There's really nothing else. Raptors, now that they have some guys still banged up like quickly, I don't mind them, but they might be getting Kelly Olynyk back, and we'll see if they get some other guys back today. So that could kind of put a wrinkle into the Raptors where they're like, we normally just play Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett all the minutes and we let it ride. Now you might have some more depth to that bench, and maybe some more minutes are taken away from those star players. Still don't think that takes away minutes from Scotty. If I had to make another pick, it was going to be Scotty Barnes over in PRAs or Jakob Poeltl's under in points. Jakob's obviously more indicative on if Cat starts, because then I could think you get into foul trouble, or it's just not a great matchup for him scoring the basketball, given how he scores. For instance, Jakob Poeltl, he scores 63% of his points in the restricted area, where the Knicks rank 6th defensively. So I do like my one play, Jalen Brunson under an assist. I just yapped for a couple extra minutes, talk about the other games. If you guys want me, the next few days, like I said, we don't have a lot of games on. So if you want me to make some long shot parlays, let me know down below. If you want me to do some other things, I don't know, let me know. But as always, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's go 1-0. Let's cash our Jalen Brunson under an assist. Let's move tomorrow's Tuesday's in-season tournament games. Let's have a day. A reminder, Monday Night Football, Bengals, Cowboys video posted right before this one. I encourage you to go check it out. I'll link it at the top of the description and down below in the pinned comment. Have a great Monday, great start to your week. Let's have a 1-0 day, and I'll see you guys out tomorrow with the brooms out. Just kidding, but let's have a day. Let's go 1-0. See you tomorrow. Peace.